All right.
Very smart. If you are in the front row, you will get wet. I should have mentioned that.
Yes. Why? How? Because he's going to stick on.
No. Hello, I'm him, Mr. Dawson. I am here today to talk with you about how each of you can be an artist for life, like me. Now, mind you, I'm not a professional artist. I write books about computers. I'm sorry. I was thinking about my job and I fell asleep. Yes, writing about computers is not the most exciting job. I write books for people who don't read them. But
No, I did that for years.
yes. However, I do get paid more than a police captain. I get paid more than a fire captain. I get paid more than a head nurse. Because even though my
Much
job...
more than the teacher.
Yes, because my job takes a special set of skills. For one thing, I can't constantly fall asleep at my job. So, one of the ways that I keep myself entertained is by adding artwork to my job. I'm going to show you that all of you are artists, and it's something you can incorporate into every aspect of your life. But before I can show you that you're artists, I have... God, I love that. I will have to show you how to be art critics. I'm going to give you a quiz.
Oh, that's a stick man.
That's not the quiz. But do not worry. I will tell you the answer before I give the question. Actually, I won't tell everybody. I'm going to tell him. Right here. Only you. You're the only one who gets to know. Okay? The answer is, I like it! Okay? Only him. I like it! Okay. What's the answer? Shh, 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 shh. Don't let them know. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of this portrait of our President, Barack Obama? I like it! Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. I like it! Very well done. I'm going to give this class an A+. So far, we'll see how the grade changes over the course of the presentation. Now, you don't have to say, that's the greatest picture I ever saw. You don't have to say, oh, it should be hanging in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. You do not have to say, it's just a dumb stick man. And you don't have to say, it stinks. The only thing you have to say is, and then think about what you like about the picture. I like it because it's fun. I like it because it's easy. I like it because it honors the president. I like it because it makes fun of the president. It doesn't matter why you like it. You look at the picture, you say, I like it. When I was in 5th grade and dinosaurs roamed the earth, I used to draw Snoopy on my lunch bag. You know Snoopy? Yeah. Peanuts. He was as big then as Adventure Time or SpongeBob is now. Yeah, big thing. So I would draw Snoopy on my lunch bag. Here comes Chris Hanks, stupid Chris Hanks. He always had stringy brown hair down to here, smelled like bacon, needed a bath. Chris Hanks, he used to come up to me and he'd say, you're a lousy Snoopy drawer. Okay, he had terrible grammar, but here's the thing. Do you think that I would remember 45 years later somebody saying that to me?
No.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I can remember the look on his face and the way he smelled like bacon. And so, when you look at a picture today, you're going to say, I like it. What if you look at your own picture today? What are you going to say? I like it. What if you look at your neighbor's picture today? What are you going to say? I like it. Brilliant! Brilliant! You get an A++. Because you can always like something about a picture. And we all like to draw. In fact, why did we start drawing in the first place? We don't know. It goes back a long time. I mean, cave people were drawing. I think it was something like this. Caveman standing out in front of his cave, nothing to do. He's got a stick. He starts dragging it in the dirt. Dragging in the dirt, dragging in the dirt, I'm just a caveman dragging in the dirt. And he would drag it around, but at some point he stops. And he said, look at that. Then he adds more lines where he thinks it needs more lines. And maybe he takes away some of the lines that don't look exactly right. And over time, it starts to look something like a picture to him. Maybe,
Mountains.
yeah, mountains. Yeah, and it's got a sea in between. And it looks like the mountain that he jumped off of into the sea just recently. Whee! And so he adds more lines where he thinks it needs more lines. And he takes some lines away where he thinks it's got too many lines. And what do you call that? Did you say drawing? You're absolutely right. Drawing is putting in more lines where you think it needs more lines and taking some lines out where you don't think it needs the lines. Right? That's all it is. And we can all draw. Did you know that? Yes, it's because of this cool word, pareidolia. Pareidolia. Para means near. Eidos means image. Near picture. Something like a picture is what that means, pareidolia. You've heard of a paramedic?
Yeah.
Okay, a paramedic is someone who is like a doctor. You've heard of a paralegal? Maybe not. That's somebody who's like a lawyer. And pareidolia is when something looks like a picture. Have you ever seen a duck in a cloud? Maybe a horse, or you've seen an old guy like me with a big puffy beard up in the clouds? That's pareidolia. Some people see faces in cornflakes, or there's that lady who sold her grilled cheese sandwich because it looked like the Madonna. Yeah, this is all pareidolia. We're always looking for faces in the world. Did you know that? There's good reason. If we see eyes in the world, if they're small eyes, we say, hey, I can eat that. If they're big eyes, what did we say? That can eat me. Yeah, so we're always looking out for something we can eat or something that's going to eat us. Because people who are able to see faces and recognize these things in the world survived. This is built into our brains. We see pictures all around us, and all we have to do is add some lines or take them away, and we are artists. We're drawing. I'll prove it to you. I'd like for you to take one of these pieces of scratch paper in the center of every desk. You got them over there, Bill. Yep, there you go. There. Take one of the pencils purchased by me at enormous personal expense. All right. And you want to use the blank side. Very good. What I would like for you to do is something like I just did here. I'd like for you to drag your pencil around in big loopy circles without looking at it. So you can you can close your eyes or you can just look away. Very good. I'll sing the Jeopardy song. Bum 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 bum. Okay, stop. Okay. I like it. Yeah, it is like that. This is a flume roller coaster. You see it splashing down in there? I told you you'd get wet in the front row. This is Snoopy sleeping on the ground instead of on top of his doghouse. You see it?
Yeah, I do see it.
You're not actually going to get wet unless I sneeze. This is pterodactyl. Swooping down. Looks like you started to darken some lines already.
Oh!
That's good. This is eggs in a nest. It does look like a pumpkin as well. It looks like a jack-o'-lantern. I like that too. We're going to see different things in the pictures. This is a zombie rotting before my eyes. There you are.
Oh yeah, I see the zombie.
Yes, right out of The Walking Dead, except you're not allowed to watch that. There we go. Oh boy, an exploding cupcake. So you see, these pictures are all around us. Not only are we able to find these pictures, we can't help but find those pictures. And when you find those pictures, that is how you become an artiste. So, cavemen were able to draw. We know that. We have found pictures that are 10,000 years old. How does a picture last for 10,000 years? Did he draw it in the dirt with a stick? On the walls of a cave is exactly right, because he was a caveman. And what's really cool, there are these caves in France. It's a place called Lascaux. And people would say, hey, let's go, let's go. And they would go down to Lascaux and they would go into these caves. And we've been looking at these pictures for many years. They were discovered, I don't know, about 50 years ago. And you go down, you look at these pictures. They're really nicely rendered paintings of animals. But something they discovered recently, there were these holes in the floor. And they didn't think much about them. They didn't realize what they were for. What they were for was to put torches into those holes. And under the torchlight, you know, the flickering light, the animal pictures move. Somebody brought a torch down there and put it in the hole, and they could see that not only were these nicely rendered animals, they actually appeared to be moving pictures. This was the earliest cinema, is the caves in Lascaux, France. Pretty cool stuff. Seriously. Yeah, it makes the animals sort of come to life. So if you wanted to remember where the great hunting is, as a cave person, you could paint a picture of animals on the wall. Now, say there were 1,000 elk there that you could hunt. Would you want to draw 1,000 elk?
No.
No, because you got to spend some time hunting them elk. Otherwise, you don't eat. So they wouldn't draw all the elk. They would just draw one or two to represent elk, to represent something in the world. That's when pictures move beyond just immediate representations of exactly what you're looking at to pictures that resembled ideas or represented things in the world. So let's say that I drew this word, a very ancient word. That's an actual word. This is a word in ancient Egyptian. So what do you think that word is, son? What would you say that word is, son? How about you, son? It's sun is exactly right. That's the word sun. In ancient Egyptian, they would have said ruh. Ruh, kind of like ruby root. Ruh.
Rook.
Yeah.
Except for take away the K.
Yeah, well, the reason that we say ruh is that it's just like modern day Hebrew. They would write the consonants but not the vowels.
Hi.
And, not the vowel sounds. And so a lot of the vowel sounds we just substitute in there. So ruh. Now, I'm going to write a word in ancient Chinese.
That's not a word in ancient Chinese.
Are you ancient? Okay, well, this is ancient Chinese. Okay? I'm ancient.
What's it up?
So what word do you think it is? Sun. It's exactly the same word with a dot. Now, you're right. It's not written that way today, is it? Now,
Today is like.
today it's more like this.
Yeah.
I know that I don't write it perfectly, but it's something like that.
No, that's not like that.
Okay? It's something like that. Why would we draw it this way and not as a circle today? Yes, sir. It evolved into this. Now, why? Why did that happen? It didn't happen just on its own. It happened for a reason.
It's easier to do.
It's easier to do is exactly right. It's easier to go than try and make a perfect circle with a paintbrush. Yeah, so that's how it evolved. It's easier to write quickly this way. And you don't just want to write. It's not always a beautiful poem you're going to hang on the wall. Sometimes you're making a grocery list. And if you need to buy Sunny D, then you got to have some way to write that quickly. Right? Very good. Excellent. So we stopped using pictures just to make pictures of the world. We started using them for words. And we call that icons. Ideography or icons. So if you want to throw away a document, say you've had a picture, you don't like it, you want to get rid of it off of your computer, where do you put that picture?
Trash can?
In the trash can. Now, does that trash can smell like moldy oil, orange peels and fish and stuff? No. No, it's not a real trash can. It's a picture of a trash can. It's the idea of a trash can. Turn your paper over. If there's any place to draw, that's fine. I don't need a big picture here. Yeah, just draw anywhere. What I'd like all of you to do is draw a house for me.
What?
Then use another piece of paper. I know some of them have got more stuff on them than others. They were just going to throw this paper out and look at it. We can use it for drawing. Isn't that nice? Okay, draw a house for me. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. Here we go. Do 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 do. Da dee da boo ba dee da do da da do dee day. It's not a race, guys. Dum ba dum bum 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 bum. Okay, I had you draw a house. I'm guessing, now I don't know for sure, but I kind of stacked the deck in my favor because I asked you to draw it quickly. So many of you drew a house that looks something like this, and maybe it's got the tree over here. Uh-huh. I see a lot of you have drawn a house. I like it that many of you, who's pounding? Thank you. There we go. So I like that many of you did the house like this. But virtually all of you drew a house with a pointy roof. Now this is kind of interesting. How many houses in your neighborhood, now think about it hard. Don't just answer right away. No knee-jerk reactions. Think about it with all your might. How many houses in your neighborhood have got tall, pointy roofs?
All of them.
All of them?
Yep, all of them.
I invite you to look at the houses when you go home. Some of them have got a little pointy thing as a decoration, but most houses in this area have got a flat roof.
What? Yeah.
Pretty much flat. They might have a little thing here, a little thing there, what have you, but they're flat. And there is a reason for that. When you make a big pointy roof, it costs money. Right? So if you've got a lot of money, and a lot of your parents probably do, then you have a house that's got a decorative pointy roof. I live in one of the old Eichler homes that's been here forever, absolutely flat. That house has been here for over 50 years. Never had a problem with it, because there is one kind of weather we don't get here very often, which is snow. So if you live in a place where it snows, and it snows on your flat roof house, and the snow piles up, eventually it's going to come through your roof. It's going to come into your bed. It makes it very difficult to sleep when you've got snow in your bed. Okay. So if you live in a place where it snows all the time, you have to have a pointed roof. The snow comes down, it goes float, and it ends up on the side of the house, which is where you want it to be. Even though nobody here lives in a house that looks like this, in a pentagonal shape with a real pointy roof, everybody drew it that way because that's the icon for house. So these icons are really useful. If you need to know which restroom to use, you don't have to speak French, you just have to speak lady picture, and you go to the woman's room, right? That's what we like. Now, if you like to draw icons, and I do, then you will love the Ed Emberley Make a World book. This lets you draw everything in the world.
Everything?
Everything. So if you like boats, they got all kinds of boats for you to draw.
Can you draw
Airplanes and bicycles. It's got, here's a bunch of different horses in different positions. Circus wagon, bunch of animals, whales and alligators, bears, yeah, pigs, camels. It's got everything. However, in order to be able to draw all of the things in this book, you must be able to draw these shapes up here. This is the Ed Emberley Drawing Alphabet. So is there anyone here who can make a letter Y? Oh, very good, many of you, good. How about 3L, CDS, VW, and U? Oh, okay. Can you draw a smile? Can you draw an upside down smile? Good, yeah, there's no frowns in our drawings, just upside down smile. Triangle, circle, rectangle? Many of you, good. Dots, squiggles, and scribbles?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, you can draw everything in the world. All right. So let's draw a horse. Let's draw a horse. We're going to draw a horse Ed Emberley style. And we'll start with a rectangle. Now, I do not use very straight, strict lines. I use what are called rat lines. R-A-T. Rat line stands for right about there. Now, I'm not worried about you doing perfect lines. I just want your lines to be right about there. Where do I put this line? Right about there. Should it be this long, that long? Don't matter. Right about there. Okay. There. Now I'm going to add a triangle, but I'm not going to add an isosceles triangle. I will add a slanty triangle that looks like a horse's neck. And then at the end of that slanty triangle that looks like a horse's neck, I'm going to put a horse's head. Another little triangle. I know, I make a better door than a window, so I move away every now and again. And I'm going to add a little half circle here. He doesn't do that, but I like it. I think it makes it look more like a horsey mouth. That's my little addition to the neighborly lesson. I'm going to draw the letter V for the front legs, but I'll draw it upside down. I told you had to be able to make those shapes. I didn't say which direction. Very clever, these Americans. All right. In the back, I'm going to give them straight line legs. Give them a few curved lines for a tail. Now we move on to the main part of the drawing. Yes, that's right. You'll hear your parents say, remember the main. Okay, your grandparents. Actually, your great-grandparents. Oh, yeah, I'm old. And then you want to add 2 little lines for the ears, and children, always remember to dot your I's.
Like this?
Brilliant, brilliant.
Like this?
I like it.
Like this?
Everybody hold up your pictures and say like this.
Like this?
And I will say, I like it. Now everybody show your picture to everybody else. Everybody together, what do you think of your neighbor's picture?
I like it.
Brilliant. You children have now advanced to the high level of Z minus.
What?
I can't get any higher than A++, so it has to rotate around. So we're starting again at Z minus. Excellent. That is one step higher than A++.
No, could you write level 2?
Level 2?
Yeah.
You're talking rubrics. I'm old. Z minus is the best you can do. Old. Okay.
You can do A++. Yeah. Now you can do
Now,
A++.
icons are great. I use icons all the time on the job. And I'll show you some in a little bit here. However, sometimes you want to draw something that looks more realistic. When you want to draw something that looks more realistic, you can use the 3D techniques that you will find in this book, Mark Kistler's Imagination Station. Draw Squad here. The show is Imagination Station. That's the book you're using. Fantastic. This is the great book. This is the book I used to learn how to draw. Now, I understand you've already heard something about foreshortening.
Yeah.
All right, so what shape is that?
Square.
If you're drawing it from the side, you draw it like a
Diamond.
diamond. Is exactly right. What shape is this?
Circle.
And if you're going to draw it from the side?
Cylinder. Oval.
Oval. It looks like an oval, just the circle part. You're right, it's a cylinder. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but when you draw it from the side, you draw the top as if it were an oval. Very good. So let's draw a couple of cans of beans. We're going to figure out all of these words. The foreshortening is the first one. I know it's a circle, but when I draw it from the side,
Oval.
I will draw it as an oval. And I'll use rat lines.
Wait, 3.14159 is pi.
That's right, it's pi
It's
day.
the beginning of pi.
Today is 3/14.
So, oh, really? Oh.
It's pi
The
day.
beginning of
yes.
pi.
That's right.
Pi is an endless number. It's like infinite.
Happy Pi Day. Yes, it goes infinite as far as we know.
As far
Right.
as,
As far as we know.
As far as you can write it.
Hmm?
As far as human beings know right now.
As far as we know today, it doesn't end. That's right.
3,000,000,014.
Now, I'm going to move on with my drawing lesson. Thank you for noticing the Pi Day, though. I'm going to bring down the sides of my round cylindrical head.
Okay.
You can't, well, I'll be sure that you always get to see it, because I'm going to walk back and forth. That's what I do. However, when I draw the bottom of it, I'm going to use a straight line. No, we're going to use a smile, aren't we? Because I want to follow the contour. When you follow the shape, you're following the contour of the shape. And, you know, when I walk away from the board, I can see when I've made it a little... When I'm up here, I get a parallax view of it. So walking away, I can see how to draw it more accurately. And now I'm going to put a smile in the center. That is my label. And by following the contour, I enhance the three-dimensional shape. Somebody asked, can I shade it? Well, absolutely you can. Let's say the sun's over here, and we're going to shade, all the way down. And we will have it cast a shadow on the ground. So that's 4 of our words already. We've used foreshortening, contour, shade, and shadow. Now I'm going to add another can. I'm going to add it up here.
Wait, I'm not done.
Well, you'll be able to catch up. That's all right. If you mustered the strength, you'll catch up.
Oh, never mind.
Huh?
We always do it with relish.
Ah, yeah. Beautiful. All right, I've added another can. What changes did I make?
It's smaller.
It's smaller. I changed the size. By making it smaller, it looks like it's farther away. What else? Placement. I moved it higher on the page. When you move things higher on the page, they look farther away, at least from this end. There we go. And what's the other thing I did to make this can look like it's in front of that one? Overlap. By overlapping one item on another, you know that the one that appears to be in front is closer, the one that appears to be behind it is even further away. That's 7 words for shortening, contour, shade, shadow, placement, size, and overlap.
That's it.
No, that's only 7 because the 8th word is up here. Total of 10 words. Trust me, I've been doing this for a decade. How many of you are older than 10? Okay, those of you who are not older than 10, I've been doing this talk longer than you've been alive. My mind is blown! There we go. I always have to change my jokes because my jokes only last 2 years. Popular culture is moving so quickly now. You kids. Now this can, is that closer or farther? Is it really far or close? Really far. We know that because we have taken some of the detail out. I've drawn it with less density. So yes, we changed the placement and size, but I also took out the details. When you look at the trees and the hills here, do you see individual leaves?
Yeah.
Well, you do because you've got outstanding vision. When I look at them, what I see are tree blobs. Big blobby things that look like trees. So instead of painting individual leaves, which would take forever, I'm just going to go blob, 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 and it will look real because that's what the trees really look like. So taking some of the detail out actually makes it look more realistic rather than less so. Now the last 2 words never appear on the page, but they are just as important. The first one is attitude. Attitude. There are 2 kinds of people in this world. People who know they can draw, and people who don't know they can draw yet. But if you practice every day, and you want to be an artist, you can be an artist. That goes for playing the piano, it goes for playing the guitar, it goes for playing sports, dance, making sculptures, anything that you would like to do. If you practice it, Malcolm Gladwell will tell you, practice it for 10,000 hours and you will be an expert. 10,000 hours. Hours. 10,000 hours. That sounds like...
That's way more than a day.
That's way more than a day. If you do something once a day for 30 years, that's 10,000 hours, an hour a day. But you know what, gang? If you're a typical American kid, by the time you're 18, you know what you're going to spend 10,000 hours doing?
What?
Watching television or playing video games or a combination of both. And when you get to be 18, you'll be really, really good at video games and watching TV. The sad thing about being really good at those things is that there are very few jobs. There are some jobs that you can get if you know how to play video games really well. Video game tester is a horrible job. So, because you don't get to play the game, you have to keep trying to find the ways to break the game, which means you do. No, you don't. Trust me, I have friends who are video game testers, and they say it's a terrible job. They make you work long hours not playing the game, but trying to break the game. And that is a very different set of skills. So, gang, if there's something you like doing, like drawing, I encourage you to do it every single day. That's the last word. Do it daily. If you practice every day for a little bit, you may not become a professional artist, but you'll always have art in your life. So, for example, I had a computer book I was writing, and there were a whole bunch of things the program did, but you couldn't see it on the screen. There was nothing to look at. So I drew these sort of steampunk contraptions.
Wait, you drew that?
Yeah, I drew these in, what do you call it, Adobe Illustrator, to illustrate my computer book. I showed these to Mark Kistler, who wrote this book, the one that you're using. He said, those are really cool. I'd like for you to come be on my television show. I said, I would like to be on your television show. I went up there, and I was on there for a particular episode. I said, you know, Mark, I looked at your website. I think it could be a lot better. He said, well, show me some ideas. I showed him ideas. He made me his webmaster. And then we wrote a book together called Mark Kistler's Web Wizards. So I wrote the book. He drew all the pictures in it. And I was able to combine my love of drawing and my love of computers into a great project with this very famous guy. So I did not expect that. I didn't start out thinking that that was what was going to happen. It just happened. Now I use these kinds of drawings. Oh, that's a cool one. I like that one. That's the builder. I use these kind of drawings all the time. Recently I was working on an XML program, and what it did was make it easier to communicate between people and computers. So I had a ballet dancer working in harmony with her computer. The computer transferred very small pieces of information. Sometimes it had some trouble getting the information into that very small package. But when it figured it out, it loved the new software, and it danced away happily. Just yesterday, I'm working on a new video where I'm talking about a product called Hadoop. It's modeled after a child's toy, but it's very flexible, so it's like it can do yoga.
That's so fun.
Yes, it's also very daunting and scary for the people who have to use it. So by using these pictures, I make the video presentations more interesting, and they also communicate more effectively and teach more effectively. Anything you love to do, I want you to do it for half an hour a day. When you turn 18, you're going to be really, really good at it. And whatever that you choose to do, you can be the best just by investing your time in something you love. So what I would like for you to do at this point is take your pictures with you, the ones you've drawn, but stack the blank paper in the center and put the pencils back in the center of the table. Thank you for your kind attention and participation. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Good evening, my